Few reportedly haunted locations are as divisive as these ruins. While some swear by their paranormal experiences, if Minsden Chapel's haunted reputation can be traced back to a single hoax, is it just a simple case of confirmation bias? Or is there something more sinister at play? The remains of the 14th century Minsden Chapel sit tucked away on the edge of a wooded area, perched overlooking the Hitchin countryside. By the 17th century, the bells of the quaint little chapel had pealed for the last time, and the chapel was neglected to fall away into ruin. The charming remains of Minsden continued to host weddings into the 18th century, until the union of Enoch and Mary in July of 1738, when it said that a piece of falling masonry actually knocked the prayer book from the curate's hands. Deemed too dangerous, the chapel would be stripped of its last remaining duties. By the time the 20th century rolled round, the ruined chapel was in desperate need of protective stewardship, something that we would find in local historian Reginald Hine. Hine developed a deep fascination with Minsden, obtaining a lifetime lease of the chapel, and even brandishing an ominous warning.
Trespassers and sacrilegious persons take warning, for I will proceed against them with the utmost rigour of the law, and after my death and burial, I will endeavour in all ghostly ways to protect and haunt these hallowed walls.
After his death, Hine's cremated remains were scattered in the chapel that he'd become so attached to, with a memorial stone being laid commemorating his bond with the location. Prior to his death, Hine made it known that the chapel was home to a ghostly monk. As the legend goes, at midnight on Halloween, the spectral monk can be seen ascending the bell tower that no longer stands. In 1907, local photographer and friend of Hine, Thomas Latchmore, produced a striking photograph of the monk. Proclaimed as evidence of the paranormal, and understandably attracting heavy skepticism, Hine remained adamant of its legitimacy until the very end. Latchmore did eventually confess to fabricating the image while experimenting with double exposure techniques, though it never was confirmed if Hine was the one posed as the ghostly monk. As you could imagine, this fiasco threw the tales of the chapel into doubt. In the 1940s, renowned parapsychologist and paranormal author Peter Underwood spent the night at the chapel to see for himself. Underwood did indeed report to have experienced some of the location's long-rumoured haunts that night. He documented witnessing a large glowing white cross appear on the chapel wall, though by his own admission, this could have been a trick of the moonlight. Slightly harder to dismiss though is the ghostly music that he heard echoing from all around the ruins, a phenomenon that's commonly reported at the site. The ruins have recently been refurbished, with the walls being stabilised and the foliage being stripped back. I was lucky enough to be able to investigate the location as it used to be, consumed by the forest. And while we didn't experience anything paranormal, the isolation and the sounds of the forest made for a really spooky atmosphere. Though the hoax has certainly stoked the paranormal tales, one thing's for sure, Minsden Chapel, even to this day, continues to captivate, remaining firmly cemented in local folklore and holding a special place for those that have experienced the chapel's unexplained phenomena.